as well as Greenland. But I think it is time to talk about someone we have skipped out on today's program, Iran. I want to come to Professor Rashed Alam. In the lieu of the 21 days, even though they are not talking about it for the last 2 or 3 days, a protest scenario has wreaked havoc in Iran. Right. The legitimacy of the revolutionary government, the Islamic revolutionary government, and the world's only theocracy was challenged. Their legitimacy, the people versus the establishment, of course, was strained. And they were set to create a figure in which they were executing these prisoners. Of course, Donald Trump had made a comment that he will take smoother action, or there are options, severe options on the table. These were the last comments if the Iranian regime were to having these protesters executed. Of course, Irfan Soltani, they weren't executed at the end. They're still being tried. The investigations are still going on. So I want to understand how you felt about Iran. Also Iran is one of the most highest exporters of fuel and crude oil.
Right. So Iranian issues like the way, I mean, we have been seeing there are lots of escalation last week. We were expecting that America might gonna attack Iran this week, but that didn't happen because of the the American allies in the region like US, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and other, and Egypt. They also thinking about like it will be a massive blow, particularly with the US bases in the Middle Eastern countries. Iran, as you said, it's not only a theocratic government. We must acknowledge that Iran is actually a mixed forms of government, where theocratic leader is the head of the state, but the day-to-day government is run by a democratically elected president. Right. The Ahmadinejad was one time president, then Khatami, then Rouhani, then and then now Pezeshkian is the the head of the government. So Pezeshkian is like we know he's a reformist government. There is two blocks. One is like conservative forces, conservative government, and one is conservative bloc, and one is reformist bloc. Reformist bloc is more liberal. They want to continue the peace negotiation with the Western world to curtail down those sanctions, those economic sanctions, so that Iran can better prosper in the economic growth and other aspects. But no. What happened, like although Pezeshkian came into the power in the government, he has been trying to broker a peace deal with the Western government. But unfortunately, the Western government and along with the US, they have turned down those peace negotiation effort that made by Pezeshkian. And rather, they imposed heavy sanction, economic sanction on Iran. That sanction has taken place in Iran since 1979. Even though Iran has been resilient, they try to self-reliant, particularly in terms of science, technology, research, and education. In terms of, the one most controversial issue regarding Iran, we have that the women have no rights in Iran. But that's a mistake. If you consider
controversial, the Iranian women have been working regarding the nuclear program in their country.
Exactly, and the number of women enrolling in the higher education is 90%, 80%, and more than the men. So that actually, that they have some certain culture, they believe in some religious beliefs, and they have some sort of convention, those things. But in terms of the human education, in terms of conducting democratic election in every 5 years, although there is a scrutiny in terms of who gonna be stand for the president, for the post of president, like they have a guardian council who gonna scrutinize the member who want to be participate in those elections. So they have a mixed brand of government which is theocratic and also at the same time democratic. By far the standard of the Middle Eastern countries, they have a better standard. So currently, I don't know why US is very much, there is a protest going on, but the recent footage shows that there is a huge armed rebellion and huge arms supply. The Iranian IRGC forces and Iranian security forces captured lots of weapons which has been supplied from the outside the country, and that actually created these massive casualties that happened in last 2-3 weeks. Like the government source is 2,000, the outside source is 12,000 or 20,000 people died. So and recently Imam Khomeini, the head of the state, has spoken that Donald Trump has to be blamed because he has instigated the protester to come down to the streets, and they come down with the street with those weapons supplied by the foreign the Mossad. The Mike Pompeo also admitted that the Mossad is in the street. So this is a huge huge, conspiracy, huge plot to ousting the current regime. So we have to be
destabilizing of the region.
So you have to be careful. Are you willing to oust the Pezeshkian government, or are you willing to oust the Islamic Republic of Iran, the fundamental state structure? Which one you want to be willing to?
It's important because if you look at the United States of America, they do not really care about who is in power.
Yeah.
But they care about the plunder of resources, which is important.
Right.
And any kind of retaliation in the Middle East, I'm sure that other Middle Eastern partners of the U.S. have stepped in on this regard, that if these bases were to be attacked, that would be the site of World War III.
Right.
So
and also the Israel is not ready at the moment. As I've said, there is the lack of soldier for the IDF at the moment. So Israel also want to buy some time. That's why Donald Trump probably pushed back from his earlier decision to attack Iran last week. So that could be another reason.
Due to technical,
but they're still trying to destabilize the government. And yesterday Donald Trump said this man has to go, like regarding Imam Khamenei, when Imam Khamenei was saying that Donald Trump has to be blamed for the killing of the people in Iranian history, because he instigated people to come with the arms and cause all those demonstration. And we have heard that there are lots of foreign intervention, particularly through the Elon Musk, the satellite connection, and also the huge money, huge arms has been supplied to this great destabilization. But we are supporting Iranian sovereignty. If you have some issues, but the Western countries has to be blamed because of those huge economic sanctions.
Sir, due to technical difficulties, we're not being able to connect Norman Floyd Barnes, but the issue that you raised regarding the Supreme Court ruling, the Supreme Court has given almost 3 lower profile opinions regarding the Donald Trump tariff decisions from across the planet. All of the 3 rulings were unanimous, with separate concurring opinions filed in 2 of the cases. So the cases also, the cases were named Burke versus Choi, Ellenberg versus United States, and Coley Island Auto Parts Limited Inc. versus Burton. So these are the 3 lower profile opinions, but the Supreme Court is set to deliver the fact that these because tariffs are not accurate.
The reason I'm interested about this, because the way Donald Trump is now planning to impose tariff on his European partners, it is serious escalation. So
there's an economic attrition, if you would call it.
To diffuse this tension, to diffuse this escalation, US Supreme Court could have a vital role against that rulings of Donald Trump, and that might then de-escalate the situation.
Of course, I must thank Professor Rashed Alam for his contribution, valuable insight